an hour?
I was up at 4 o'clock. So
For what?
Started my day at 4 today. I switched from being a night owl to going morning. So this is day one of that. So it's tough. Day one's tough.
I give you credit. I love mornings. There's nothing like that. Quiet calmness before the storm hits and knowing, you're getting work done and you're working when other people are sleeping.
Yeah. So I shifted to 4 a.m. So the first day is a little hard.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
You'll make it work.
Right before I was waiting for 5 o'clock to happen, I fell asleep with my son sitting next to me. So I don't know if it's going well, but
did you make your bed?
Did I make my bed today? No, I never make.
That's important. You got to make it, even if someone's still laying in it. Make sure your side's neat.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Hold on, we gotta queue up the fun. We didn't queue up the fun.
Drop it in.
If we don't queue up the fun, then it hasn't officially started.
Your daily drive home.
Welcome to Football and the Kitchen Sink. Get ready for in-depth conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro football. Plus some insight about the rest of the world. All this, along with some fun and humor along the way. Pull up a chair, grab a coffee or a beer, and join us. It's Football and the Kitchen Sink. Here are your hosts, Coach Schuman and Coach DePascali.
All right, man.
Let's get it rolling, man.
Get it rolling. So some interesting things going on in the world of football, man.
Never a dull moment in this place, man. I mean, there really isn't a day where you can't dive into something that's really going on.
I guess apparently you can't give out bags of money.
Look,
don't do it.
I mean, if you're in this world, you know it happens. You know it's part of it. It's just, is it right? Is it wrong? Everybody's got their own opinion on certain things, but at the end of the day,
wait. Is what right and what wrong? You got to be a little bit clearer than what you're just saying. Is what right? Giving out bags of money?
Yes.
That's wrong.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess. But it happens. And you either are good at it or you're not. And when you're not, this is kind of what happens. So if you want to go ahead and set the stage for our listeners and kind of let them know what we're referring to, and then we'll kind of dive into it a little bit more, go ahead.
Well, the bottom line is Jeremy Pruitt, one of the reasons he got fired, I guess, apparently, that basically they were saying that he was giving bags of money, cash, to recruits. So that's what they call, I guess, when they were announcing it. Yet, and yesterday when I did the show by myself, I did not know any of that.
It kind of broke right when you were going on. So.
I knew he got fired. I didn't know.
The why has now come out.
Yes. So that seems to me going back to the beginning of time, handing out bags of money, if that is indeed the case. And not only if they were hanging out, but if he was handing out bags of money, they didn't give out either A, enough, or B, to the wrong people because they weren't winning. So
correct.
I don't know what was going on. But yes, Tennessee, I guess, has the infamy of being not just a cheater, but a bad cheater as well. And I wish I could get my man Swain on the line. He does the Swain event, and he covers all Tennessee football. And played there. I
don't think people realize, but Tennessee is one of those states that they don't have anything other than the University of Tennessee. So I mean,
what do you mean? The state of Tennessee? Well,
as far as the state, I mean, you got.
Well, you don't have Vanderbilt?
you got a little bit, but for the most part, it's a volunteer state, man. I mean, these guys
I was
all
joking.
in when it comes to them, and they've been not so good. They've been not so good for a while, you know. So
they weren't bad last year. They weren't. They were 8-5 and thought maybe they might turn the tide last year.
But I compare them to they're kind of like an Auburn situation. Like,
would he be getting fired? I don't think he would have been fired if he wasn't.
No.
If there wasn't bags,
if he wasn't floppy in his recruiting and handing out cash in McDonald's bags. I mean,
but was he handing out the cash? They fired 9 assistants too.
I don't think it was him personally. Yeah, you know, these guys aren't walking into his office.
Right. So
let's
be clear on this.
Saying, oh, there's my McDonald's bag. No, it's obviously someone within the program that does the dirty work. You know, I mean, and the article that I read, you know, it basically said what I said in the intro was that this happens and it goes on all over. It's just a matter of these guys were sloppy about it, or, you know, and by sloppy, I mean,
I don't know that it goes on all over. I know it goes on, but where it goes on, I'd like to know. But I don't think
everybody likes to know. Wouldn't everybody? You look at these schools; they're all vying for the same kids. They're all lobbying for the same kid. I mean, hell,
can I read you this? Mark Stoops, Kentucky's head coach. Kentucky coach Mark Stoops, not one bit surprised about what happened with Tennessee football.
Sloppy.
I'd like to dive into that. I have to be careful. I see it coming. Yes, I am grateful it came. Does it surprise me? Not one bit. So basically,
you're talking about a rival school kind of right next door.
Yes, absolutely. I think we wish a bowl game.
I'd like to know the number of how much was in that bag.
I'll say that we were never a negative. You know, we're going to win about.
Is that considered negative recruiting?
Oh, is what giving cash? It's called illegal recruiting.
And if you're a rival school and you're talking to a recruit, and do you say that? Like, hey, these guys do it this way. Do you say, like, hey, these guys do it this way, but that's not how we do it here? Or is that something that just stays under the radar and is never talked about or said?
Definitely talked about.
So you walk in Mark Stoops' office and you know, Coach, you know, Tennessee gave me, you know, $10,000. You know, what's the deal?
Can't tell him exactly. I mean, he'd be dumb if he was a player if he said it exactly what. But he might say, "Hey, you know,
like the movie Blue Chips, where you walk in there and say, hey, Coach, I'm looking for $20,000 in cash in a duffle bag. If you can match that, I'm yours." Like,
apparently, I wasn't good enough to know about that. So
I didn't get any money. I definitely didn't get cash. I got $20 to host recruits, but that's about it.
I did see some things though.
I was
at FCS and I did see some things. I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus, but I did see some things, meaning there were some guys that were from the state of Florida who didn't have any jacket or any money, and all of a sudden had some really nice jackets that had UConn. Now, could somebody have sent them up a jacket? Yes. There was swirling rumors about some things, but I can't say any of it's true.
Now, here's the deal. If you, right, and we know that, say, you know, a booster, someone who's let's look at your situation, a diehard UConn fan, right? And he's got some money and he's a donor and he's a part of the Husky football club. If all of a sudden he wants Darnell Jefferson to have a jacket, hey, Darnell Jefferson, great play, great game, here's a jacket. That's illegal.
There's one thing that I know. So I don't know anything about UConn basketball about that kind of stuff. But, because I just wouldn't know. I was friends with the guys. I wouldn't know enough to know. But and they wouldn't tell me anyway.
Of course not. Otherwise, that check stops.
But let's go to this.
There's a reason all those guys had Jordans.
There's no way our football program is giving anybody. So,
but look, think of right away. You know, I think about the movie The Program, right? Darnell Jefferson comes in, he has a great game, and all of a sudden after the game, people are putting envelopes in his pocket.
I'm not saying that there aren't places that maybe this stuff happens, and I'm sure there is.
How the hell do you handle that as a player? Say you're one of these players that's coming from nothing.
If you're coming from, it's a very difficult dilemma. That's why they want to give them. That's why they want them to be able to make money from their likeness, which is coming very, very soon. And that's
gonna be wild.
Yeah, but at least they won't have to do that anymore. So I mean, that's one of the.
If you're that player, and you're a freshman. You just got there.
I have to say,
and your teammates are all doing this.
That's one of the pros of.
What if you don't? What if you're not comfortable with this and you don't want to do it? But here, all your teammates are. How do you do that? Because if you go to somebody, you blow this whole thing up, and now what?
Morality. You say no.
But what? Then all your teammates are beat.
What's that?
Then all your teammates are screwed. You've just blown up the whole thing.
How are you blowing it up by saying no?
You don't. The guy puts an envelope in your pocket, walks away. What do? Chase him down?
I said, don't give this to me. I'm not down with that.
And then he gets pissed, and now we got problems.
He's not gonna be pissed.
What if he is pissed? What if he's offended and like, no, this is not how things work? I just gave out 5 other envelopes.
He's not gonna be pissed.
I don't want to be that guy.
First of all, they're not. My guess is in most cases not giving money to anybody that they don't think is going to take it. Number one. Number two.
That's a very good point.
Number two, I think they're pretty. I think they're obviously Jeremy Pruitt may not have been as careful, but other people probably are more careful.
Man? McDonald's bags? You can't even spring for a Tennessee string book bag or something? Come on, man.
Listen, ain't nobody.
McDonald's.
They weren't giving me cash, so I had no idea. So if someone was getting cash, I wasn't good enough to get it. So
maybe Conley got it.
What's that?
Maybe Conley got some.
Conley definitely didn't get cash.
Your quarterback might have.
No, he wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't tell me. They really wouldn't.
Look, hopefully this new rule where these guys can now market themselves and make some cash off of their own likeness, maybe that changes this game a little bit. I think it definitely will.
I think that part will change for the positive because then you can just go, hey, man, I'm sponsoring for – I want to be able to use his likeness in this picture. So, I gave him $20K. So,
Hey, but I mean, hey, why don't you come do a signing at my store? That's what I want to see happen. Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see guys do it that way.
So now you won't have to do it. You could just make it legal. Why would you even have to? You just say, hey, he's going to do a signing. He's going to sign me a shirt and I'll give you $10K,
Listen, here's the other thing is I read an article the other day about there was an Oregon defensive lineman, and we know Oregon, Nike school, gear beyond gear, right? I mean, stuff. So he's no longer eligible. He used up his eligibility. He's all done. He had a garage sale, and he sold all of his stuff. He had over 25 jerseys that he sold, and it was all legal because he was, his eligibility was up, and he was selling stuff. Exclusive, Oregon Duck Jordans and, all this gear and all this stuff and he, that's legal.
Did you see, where did you, try to organize, where did you read the money thing, by the way? I'm just curious.
About the Tennessee thing?
Yeah, which article said that? Because I'm trying to find that.
It was, it only had
what's that?
Stoops involved, so it might have been that same article. It might have been that same article because I know it mentioned Stoops. Which was, like I said, it was interesting, but it basically stated that they were sloppy in the way they handled it by, simply giving it out in freaking McDonald's bags. Why are you doing it that way? There's a lot of other ways to do it. If you're going to go down that road, at least be smart about it, smart enough to kind of get away with it. I mean, you're not really looking to hide much when you're literally handing it out in McDonald's bags, man. And you saw this kind of develop as it was going. Here's an article. UT fired entire recruiting staff. So they're looking to obviously point the finger at whoever they can. The question now becomes what happens to the program itself. And as a head coach, they're looking to hire someone, who says yes, knowing you're now going to have sanctions or all that kind of stuff coming down on you. I think at the end of the day, somebody's going to say yes because it's Tennessee. It's an SEC program. That's what I'm saying. You're going to have loss of scholarships, loss of postseason play. I mean, if you're the NCAA, you have to set a precedent and come down hard on this and say, look, this is not okay.
Interesting. Kevin Steele.
And what does this do to Pruitt?
Well,
I know Kevin Steele's name has been thrown around for it. Hugh Freeze's name has been thrown in there.
Hugh Freeze.
I saw Herman.
Didn't Hugh Freeze do something at Mississippi?
Yeah, when I got fired from Ole Miss, he was calling escort service from his desk phone.
He was calling what?
Escort services.
Oh, hey, by the way, your connection is rough.
I'm sorry, dude.
Rough. Escorts. Wow. Well, I didn't know that. Wow.
That's why he then ultimately ended up at Liberty.
They're not going to hire him then. They're not going to hire him.
I saw Herman's name attached to it.
Herman? Tom Herman?
Yeah, it says he just got fired from Texas.
I think Tom Herman's still a good coach. Of
course he's a good coach, but the question is, do you want to go to Tennessee and deal with all that?
Isn't he getting like $20 million though?
Do you want to sit on your couch and collect your $15 million?
Yeah, I might take a year with $15 million. But if you stay in the mix, you take the job. I think all that happens is, let's say you're supposed to get $20 million, they just they take away the difference. So let's say you were owed $8 million. Well, if you're paid if you're supposed to be paid, let's say $20 million, and your salary is gonna pay you 15, you can still collect the extra 5. But you can't. It comes off of your. I think it comes off of your buyout, depending on what the language is on the buyout. I don't know what the language is.
Well, what's in your contract?
But yeah, usually that's kind of what the deal is, because that's why guys don't take. That's why they take those analyst jobs where it's like a minimal amount before you could get paid before it starts counting.
You can still get
wow, so that's interesting. Big shakeup. Really much. That's pretty crazy.
And then you're looking at all this other stuff, man. I mean, that article that I read was on Football Scoop, and it was Dan Patrick. He's the one that said Tennessee was handing out bags of money. It was in McDonald's bags. So
no one dropped any off of my house, for God's sakes. I could use the extra $20K.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you're a 17-year-old kid, and all of a sudden you got, here you go. I don't know. It's
that's a tough situation. That's whoever goes in there next. That's gonna be a tough deal. Now,
here's the quote by Dan Patrick. It said, Tennessee Vols got sloppy with recruiting. They were handing recruits cash in McDonald's bags when they visited campus. And it says here, a name to look out for to fill the head coaching vacancy. And I don't know whether you're partial to this because he's part of your Cowboy unit, but they say Jason Witten.
Oh, that's right. He's a Tennessee guy. Why is he coaching?
That's the thing. He's never coached in his life. He was playing. He's still playing. He's still playing. And, he took that year off, did some commentating or went up to the booth, didn't like it, came back. He's never coached before. And all of a sudden you're going to hand this guy the reins to an SEC program with sanctions, with all of this going on. Why? Because he's just he went there.
Basketball does that stuff. Sometimes it works in basketball.
Yeah, like look at Juwan Howard.
Like sometimes they get is he
Juwan Howard at Michigan? Penny Hardaway at Memphis.
And they never were coaches before, and they just brought him in.
Juwan Howard was, but I think he was like, low man.
Deion Sanders at Jackson State.
Who just got robbed, by the way.
I saw that. I wanted to talk about that story. I saw, by the way, I have to say, I'm a closet Jackson State fan because of Deion Sanders.
I love Deion.
I'll tell you why I am. Because I watched one video, like they're doing like a series of videos. You know what I'm saying? I think we showed the one video. And I was like, so YouTube,
like, look, you want to play on Sundays? Come here.
Yeah, that video. So YouTube, obviously, because the way their algorithm is, they think that I'm a Jackson State fan. So they keep feeding me Jackson State Deion videos. So I've watched all the videos now. I've watched everything. The first practices. I know what's going on.
You drank the Kool-Aid.
Were
they playing the spring season?
So I knew he was robbed before anybody else did. I saw the video right away yesterday.
And how great, like, he says, look, I don't care about the truck. Windows can be fixed. I don't care about the other stuff you talk, but the boom box you took has sentimental value for me. Please return it, and there will be a reward.
The thing to watch, the thing to look at is the funniest part is of all of it.
He's going to pay for someone to return something that they stole from him.
Yes. The comments.
And that person will do it.
The comments are hilarious. The comments. Oh, my God.
As far as what people think or feel.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of Jackson State fans that, obviously most of the people that are watching.
Fans.
Well, no. There are people like me, who's a Deion Sanders fan, who wants to see how this all works.
Right, now you become a Jackson State fan.
Right. So I'm kind of rooting for them. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
Only thing I know about Jackson State is that Walter Payton was a star there. And
that's like whenever I hear that name, you got like Walter Payton, like, thank you.
Yes. But I have to say, like, he's brought a lot of press to Jackson State. So this is how many videos I've watched. I watched the video of him in the equipment room with the equipment room staff. I thought that was a funny video. And then
I'm gonna have to go and watch all these now.
They're playing like old school R&B in there while he was talking to him. So like the camera's rolling. There's all these college kids in there with Deion's talking to the equipment manager. Which are usually kids. And then one adult, and then they got like, I guess it's the equipment manager, whatever music he listens to. It was like R&B, like old school though, like, you know what I mean?
Like Boys to Men?
No, it was like I can't remember exactly what it was, but I just remember like, wow. I'm like, are the kids listening to this? I'm like, no, it can't be kids. It must be the head equipment manager who must be older or something. So anyway, so I've watched each one of these videos, and then all of a sudden, a video comes up. Deion Sanders was robbed, but it was actually his car that was robbed.
His truck. There was a white Suburban that pulled up at 5:45 a.m., broke the window, took the stuff, left, and he's saying, look, can you bring back the boombox?
Hey, listen, I'll appeal to anyone. If anyone was, what was the day I was on Saturday night, I was with my family. We got T-boned on a hit and run in Florham Park at the corner going across CVS.
Wow.
We got a hit and run.
How come you didn't tell me about that? Everybody okay?
Yeah, everybody's okay, but we got T-boned. Boom, like
that's
that.
Bad, dude. That's bad.
Yeah, everybody's okay. But on a hit and run. How about that?
So somebody T-boned front or back or midsection?
So the person hit and run because he must have been on drugs or something, because we were going this way across the street to go to CVS. It was across the intersection. There was a light, green light. They were coming this way. So we were almost all the way across, and this person who must have been on some goes and turns left into my car. Like only someone who
Or
would
hit
be
the passenger side?
hit my side, the back seat, where Nicole was actually sitting. She was actually sitting there, and we know, and then
Fortunately, it wasn't Troy.
we had a witness too, believe it or not, because I don't know, there wasn't too many cars out, but guy pulled around and we knew it was a white car. He zoomed away. This guy was a witness, so he saw it. He described whatever. I didn't even know what the person looked like. He actually saw what the person looked like. Actually, and here's what's funny. Turns out, I don't want to give him his name away, but like, turns out he's a coach at Garfield. So he know Garfield High School. He knew who we knew, but anyway, yeah. So it could have been a bad situation. This person, this is how bad it was. It felt like the person purposely went into me, because there's no way you would have made a left into somebody if you were paying attention. Because you would have, you figure this, the middle intersection. So if you're going to make a left, if someone's already past the middle on the way to the other side, you're usually going to turn left and go. This person came out, instead of going by me and turning a left on the other, he would have been on the wrong side of the road if he was successful in what he was trying to do. He had to be messed up. Had to be. So he went
lucky
like,
everybody's okay.
he just came out. I saw the car come out and then just turned into me so fast. I was like, what? It was crazy. It would have been bad. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was bad.
Car was drivable, though?
Yeah, the car was drivable, but it was bad.
Nicole's
By the way, that car, Toyota Highlander, great car, was Nicole's car.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah.
Stuff you never know, dude. People are
crazy, man. People are crazy. They like yo, like have consideration for a little bit of consideration for other people, like
human beings.
Man, these people. I don't want to blame young people, but it was a young person, and when you're young, you don't think.
When you're young, you do a lot of
things.
And he or she was probably just, oh my God, like
it was a he. It was, well, with pronouns now, it apparently looked like it was a he. So I'm assuming it was a he, but if he has a pronoun, then maybe he's not a he.
Depends on which way we identify.
Well, he was a he. Yes. So anyway, so that's that. I think we about covered the Tennessee debacle. I don't know what they do next, because whoever they hire is going to have sanctions, bowl bans, and all.
You're going into a very tough situation with in an already tough situation, if that makes sense.
I don't know how Tennessee got there. How did they get to this point?
You remember them as more of a power than I do.
I gotta get Swain on. I gotta see if we can get him on with us,
because he'll have everything.
Well, he's an insider. I don't know.
He'll know. He'll have the juice, like I like to say. But look, I know on this show we refer a lot, and we've been talking about it. Nick Saban's former head coaching reserve that basically he has. We know about the Bill O'Brien hire for his OC. The next one now that I have seen is that former Jacksonville Jaguars, former Buffalo Bills, former Syracuse University head coach Doug Marrone will now be his offensive line coach. So you're talking another NFL coach who, just got fired from Jacksonville, will now be at Alabama. So you
know who else I wanted to discuss, and his agent has taken the NFL to task.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw this, but Eric Bienemy. So
what's going on? Because he's the hot name.
I said it. Ridiculous from the get-go.
He's the hot name, and nobody's pulled the trigger.
He's obviously not the hot name.
You're seeing everybody else look at who the Chargers just hired.
I don't even know. I don't even know who he was.
He was a Division III coach 5 years ago.
Okay, well, that doesn't matter. Where was he last? Where was he last?
He was he was with the LA Rams. He was the defensive coordinator for the LA Rams.
Oh, just recent.
Oh. And now he will be the Chargers head coach.
Wait, the LA Rams that just gave up a bazillion points to the
Packers? The LA Rams. This guy's basically driving down the street to San Diego, or to they're the LA Chargers and the LA Rams. So I don't think he's got to move.
Well, that was the one that we thought he'd go to the Chargers. That's right.
We thought that was like a given.
And now it don't look like he's going to the Eagles either. They say Josh McDaniels.
That's what I hear as well. Like we have any different sources, you know what I'm saying? It's a matter of who reads what article. We don't have any. Look, I'm not Adam Schefter, okay? I'm not breaking any news, You know
it's great.
You're calling me with any juice.
It's great. If Adam Schefter reports it, I can report it 2 seconds later because he tweets it immediately. So
he's so good. He's so good.
It doesn't matter. Like, oh, great. Oh, you got it 1 second before the rest of us. As soon as you told us, we all
Michigan guy, man. He's a Michigan guy. I did want to bring up the fact that, and this is kind of outside the coaching carousel that we usually talk about, and I wanted to question you about it, is in 2021, there will be no NFL Combine.
Oh, I just did a whole thing on it this morning.
Okay, so I didn't get this.
So I do want to talk about it.
What is your take that now? From what I've read, is it's completely canceled. There's no combine, but each school will be allowed to still have pro days.
Correct.
So
my take as a former agent, my take on it is this. I don't understand why the NFL is canceling this if they're still going to do pro days. So that's because two things with the NFL Combine. It's the biggest networking event for like personnel and stuff and coaches, I guess.
Come have a conversation, talk to people.
So that takes away. Indianapolis was out on all that business. It's a huge week for Indianapolis. Huge.
Okay. So Indianapolis is now also hosting the NCAA basketball tournament. March Madness will be in a pseudo bubble in Indianapolis.
I don't know. Well, okay, so maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying. So, you think about those two monster events, Indianapolis,
they lost one,
right? And Mark, March Madness.
So the other issue with this is last year when they canceled the pro days, a lot of the smaller school prospects, or even if they were from Division I schools, lost the opportunity to get in front of pro scouts. Now this year, because they're getting rid of the combine and going to pro days, the players that go to schools that are not of the top players are more likely to not have anyone come to their pro day. And the NFL has said that they will make sure everybody has the ability to put it up online, which everyone does anyway. Okay.
Correct.
There's an NFL database that all the videos for pro days go into. The problem is that if they don't see you in person, you're not going to find out a lot of these lower level prospects, some of the smaller school prospects. They're not going to attend them in person. It's going to be less likely to bring those guys in. That'll be 2 years in a row of that. I think they're doing a disservice. Either that or it's on purpose because they just want to do less in this process. So the other thing is this. One trainer and one medical personnel will have the ability from each team to go to these pro days. So we're not limiting really how much exposure are we really limiting. They're just going to be going. The medical personnel would have went to Indianapolis. Now they're just going to go to travel to every one of these teams they got to check out of the prospects that they're interested in.
A lot of travel.
I mean, so are we really limiting it? I don't know what I would think you could have did the NFL Combine by bringing in 25 of those guys over maybe a longer extended period of time. You know what I mean? 15 days or something, bringing in 20 at a time, 25 at a time. And they're on a football field. I mean, they're only going They're doing individual drills, so they're going one at a time. It's not like they're all on top of each other, but
I would think that to get this together would be easier than a lot of the other stuff that they're
the pro
doing.
days, those
Pro
guys
days,
are on the
now you
road.
got to collaborate and everything kind of come together. Now, look, for an individual school, I don't know. I just think it's a lot. I don't know. I just
Plus
don't
the uniformity of the pro days. Having been to a lot of pro days, some pro days are done right and some are not.
That was my other question to you: is there, say, like an NFL? Okay, if you're having a pro day, here's NFL policy. This is what needs to be followed. This is how you need to do things.
They do have standard drills.
Oh, right. But I'm talking about
not everybody follows it. Like they don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like the NFL is going to tell Alabama how to do something.
No, that's not how it works. So
each individual pro day has its own entity in an
there's a leader. So there's the NFL scouts will be there. There'll be a person that will run each position drill.
And then now who runs it?
In NFL. So let's say there are 20 teams at Derek's pro day. Okay. 20 teams came to your pro day, which is and let's say there was like 25 NFL personnel. They're there to see certain guy. Now Alabama, they're there to see a lot of guys, but let's say your school had 2 prospects that they thought were really good. Well, there would be 2 guys that were probably sent specifically to work out one of those 2 guys. So they'll be pretty much experts in those positions. But then there'll be 5 or 6 prospects that are unknown prospects or little known prospects that they'll have position drills run by the guy who's running everything, but that may not be his thing. So you have a little bit of that going on. That's how it has been in the past. The testing part is uniform. That part is uniform.
Okay.
But the testing environment is not uniform.
Okay.
So sometimes, in pro days, they're running in a little bit of rain. Sometimes most of them have turf, but sometimes they have grass. It's just there's
a lot to it.
There's different things to it. Sometimes you're doing a broad jump on like a flat surface in a weight room. Sometimes you're doing the broad jump out on the turf.
Which is why an NFL combine takes away all of those other whatever and makes everything uniform, that all these guys are doing this.
Correct.
So can you, as Alabama, at a pro day, skew it so your athletes benefit from it being, quote, home turf?
No.
Does that make sense?
No, you can't skew it, but what
can you put it more so in your guys' favor? Maybe now they're running 40s where they've run 440s before on that type of surface, turf.
Oh, they're familiar. It is their surface.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but everybody has that advantage. Everybody has
familiarity. Does that add an advantage?
Everybody has that advantage on pro days because everybody works out.
NFL Combine takes that away.
Correct. So so those top tier guys are all on the same surface. You can compare apples to apples. It's really going to be hard to compare apples to apples.
I would love to see the numbers and see over all these years of the combine how many guys improve when they go back to their pro day.
I would say most do.
Would you give it 90% improve?
I don't know if I would. Yeah, because maybe the reason why I say that is because you have nothing to lose. If you already ran a good time, if you ran a bad time, you're probably going to improve. If you ran a good time, you're probably not going to time anyway again.
Right. See, that's the part that I always forget. Like, you can opt out.
They'll opt out. Yeah, you're not going to. If you ran like, let's say you would discuss this with your agent and maybe your speed / whoever's training you. And if you're like, hey, this is within the range we needed to be,
we're good.
Yeah, and you could usually ask some scouts to, get in discussion with them, especially if you're a better player.
Well, I look at it like, I think this year's a great example. You're looking at the Heisman Trophy winner, right? And a guy who we know can straight ball, right? You get between the lines, this guy can go at it. But he's small, right? I mean, he's not even – is he 6 foot? I don't know. He's 150-something pounds, right? You're looking at guys like DK Metcalf in the league.
He's going to run 4.3 in the 40. It won't matter.
And so you're saying that size that means absolutely nothing.
He's going to run 4.3 in the 40, so it's not going to matter. If he went and ran.
So that stuff all, balances itself out in the long run.
If he ran slow,
you can go a little bit, you can take away a little bit from here, but if here is up here, then you know what I mean? It's just.
The thing that matters in the NFL now is speed.
Will he
look
be
at Tyreek Hill. What does he weigh? 175, 180?
The cheetah?
He's fast. He's great. I like watching him.
Chad Henne, baby.
Chad Henne played great. I had to do that.
He probably earned himself another 4 years in the league as a backup off 2 plays.
He played good. He came in and it was no big deal.
Dave, he's been in the league for
15 years. 12, 13 years.
And where's he from?
Michigan. Where's he from?
No, I mean, I went to go to school. Something about those Michigan QBs, boy.
Well, he's not Brady, but he is.
I mean, Tom Brady's still in the playoffs.
What I was going to say about Chad Henne is, did you know who he played baseball for?
No.
He was drafted by the Yankees.
Yay.
You know that? He played.
Did you see today's breaking story in baseball? You want to talk about some craziness? Did you see today? Did you see today's breaking news?
No.
The GM, newly hired GM for your New York Mets, fired because it came out.
Maybe Chad Henne didn't play baseball.
He's distracted.
Trying
to tell you something big, and he's
all right. Tell me again. I'm sorry. Who baseball?
Newly hired GM for the Mets. He was hired in December. Fired.
Oh yeah.
Because he sent explicit pictures and text messages back in 2015 or 2016 when he was with the Cubs to a Korean sportscaster something. And we're talking
unsolicited too. It wasn't even a mutual thing.
Dave,
I read it was hundreds. I heard hundreds.
Text messages I saw.
Ooh, Chad Henne's yes. I by the way, I heard it was hundreds, not 60.
Excuse me. Do you know what you are right now? You are what I call squirrels. You're what I call squirrels because I'm sitting here trying to have a conversation and a squirrel runs by and where's Dave go? Squirrel. Like
Chad Henne played for Wilson Senior High School.
Great. Is that in Flint?
Oh wait, I was thinking it's something else. Oh, I thought that was
You're
Wilson.
thinking Drew Henson.
No, it was. Wait, Wilson. Oh yeah, I thought Wilson. Wilson is So he played at Wilson. So I'm gonna give you 2 other quarterbacks that played for Wilson High School. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. One played for the Giants and led them to the Super Bowl, but did not win.
Kerry Collins.
Correct. The other was the starting quarterback for the University of Connecticut.
Orlovowski.
No. Shane Stafford, my man. All Wilson High School grads.
No idea who that is.
Yeah, you know. You know. If you don't know, you better ask somebody.
Kerry Collins. I was always a fan of Kerry Collins.
I guess it wasn't. Henny wasn't a
baseball guy. Wasn't Kerry Collins Penn State guy?
Penn State, yeah. I'm trying to think. Who did Henny compete with the job for?
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know that when Coach Schuman gets his focus point on something, there's no talking to him about anything else. He's trying to especially when he's trying to prove he's right, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm wrong. I thought the guy who he competed with for the job that it must be who played baseball. I thought it was him, but I guess I was wrong. It's not him. I guess he was a baseball. Was always.
I believe he was a 4-year starter there.
Yeah, who was the other quarterback there? Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't even know what to talk about now. Is it right that this guy for the Mets gets fired 6 years after this happened or 5 years after this happened?
I don't know the context of everything. If I were to say if it was mutual,
Was not.
Right, which
Apparently,
it was not.
at first it was. But after 60 text messages with no response, you would think that my man would get the hint and like let it go.
I think that's where
is this right? Is this right by any means? Because no female or male reporter or anybody should have to deal with anything like this.
Oh yeah, if it's not the reason why is because it wasn't a mutual deal. Yeah, I mean, he might get fired even if it was a mutual deal, but I don't think if someone had a mutual deal that they would sell him out.
I don't think it would be out like this.
Right. So obviously,
the reporter who reported this doesn't want anything. Like, doesn't want money, is not sue or any of that kind of stuff. Like, she's simply putting it out there because
he's a creep.
He just doesn't want this to happen to anybody else. Yeah, creep is, look, 60 no answers. Come on, bro. Get the hint. And I say kudos to Cohen because he said, look, this will not be tolerated within this new organization. So bye-bye, buddy. Like, I don't care how long ago it happened. But at the same time, isn't this – how do you hire somebody? Was this not known? Was this whatever? And then all of a sudden, yeah, because I think he would do the due diligence. You're not going to hire somebody with this on their record. Or whatever.
Yes, right. No, this obviously just came out. Right. I do have a
Does he ever get a job again?
Is this like so her motivation? I didn't read enough about it.
Her motive for saying it now is because she doesn't want it to happen to anybody else. The reason she didn't say it in the beginning, I believe, from what I'm reading, is one, there was somewhat of a language and culture issue where, is this acceptable? I don't know really what's going on because I'm just to this country from Korea. I know that was somewhat of an issue. Two was like the persistence, like the continual banter after, like, you know, she was – this isn't right. This shouldn't be happening. And said no. And it continued. The timing to me is interesting. Why now? She has since left journalism, so that's probably why. It can no longer affect her job because, you know, if this continues, she says something and all of a sudden, you know, he says, look, you'll never have a connection with anybody. I'll put your name out there and nobody will talk to you.
So she's not filing any.
Nope, there's nothing formal happening. Nothing. She's not going further.
You know, here's my only issue with it. My only issue is that. Did he? Well, first of all, did he agree with it? Did he say, yeah, I did it?
He admitted to it all. I mean, how can you not? There's a paper trail, dude. You sent a picture, a quote pic.
Yeah, I mean, he's screwed. Yeah, he's done.
A different first letter.
There's no defending him. There's no defending him.
It's not like you just and you. Look,
there's not much to this story. There's no defending him.
You sent the ultimate game over mic drop quote pic that you could possibly send. Look, man, you're pretty confident, but I don't know, bro. Like, take a hint, dude. Like, take a hint.
I'd rather not discuss this whole situation.
My whole thing was, it happened so many years ago. It's coming out now. He gets fired. I just wanted to bring it up in terms of, does he get another job? Or is this a career ender?
I don't know.
That's the reason I bring it up.
The whole thing is so stupid. Who cares?
Stupid in the fact that, like, he's an idiot.
And what was he? Is he the GM? What was his job?
GM. For a Mets franchise that is on its way up, and right now,
I mean, listen, you know, I'll put one thing out there, okay? There is kind of a double standard out in this world because I see videos of people of the other sex doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and that's okay. Now, I'm not saying that what this guy did was okay, because it's not. But I don't want to see people shaking it it keeps showing up in my feed. I don't want to see it all the time. I'm just going to be honest. Like, that's harassing me. I don't want to see it. Just because you show it to me and now I see it, now your algorithm thinks I want more of it, and you keep showing it to me, and I don't want to see it. So my whole thing is,
I agree that there is a double standard.
Obviously now these people aren't getting naked that I'm seeing, but that's what drives me nuts about Instagram or like Twitter or these things.
TikTok,
like, I don't want to see these things.
Your TikTok stuff.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Like, it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. Like,
even no matter what you do or what you put in place, they always
every time you go into a social media site, you gotta like see like craziness. I mean, obviously, I'm an adult. Doesn't I can
you're not a
live
14-year-old. You're not a 14-year-old boy anymore.
Yeah, but I gotta see I'm just saying that like it's fed to you. It's fed out there. And it's
put in the limelight.
Yeah, it's not making things better, to be honest.
And staying along those tracks of the female and the Me Too movement and stuff like that, we will ultimately have our first female NFL referee for the Super Bowl.
Why didn't the girl just block him?
This was the thing. I think she feared retribution.
How?
Was that the right word?
How? For blocking?
He wouldn't know.
He wouldn't know.
But he would. But he could. She feared that he would kind of blacklist her, and she would no longer be able to communicate or get stories because she would be on that quote.
But she didn't respond to him anyway.
Right. She ignored him.
So essentially, ignoring him. You get where my
continued it.
That's my point. Why wouldn't you just block him?
Well, it
wasn't like he cornered you.
No, but I think you're right. I get it.
I'm just saying.
I think that matters. I think that's where the whole culture.
Why are people trying to get people? If she didn't like it at the time, why couldn't she call the police?
Like I said, I think she was fearful that it would come back in her.
But she ignored him anyway. She ghosted him.
But I don't think she understands all of that because she's not from here. I think that played a huge role as to at first
understand how to hit block on her phone.
No, but I think the article at first, like, she didn't really even realize, like, is this acceptable in this culture? Is this how things are supposed to be? Like, that was kind of the first type of thing. And then I guess it just kind of escalated.
So when he became GM, she then realized it?
I'm
just asking because I could care less about all of it. I think it's all nonsense.
It is what it is.
He's wrong. He's an idiot. It wasn't. She didn't want it. She wasn't. She wasn't. It wasn't some sort of reciprocal relationship. So he's an idiot for doing it. Absolute idiot. But I'm just saying, like, this whole gotcha thing. Like, why are we looking to get each other all the time? It's like when someone annoys me on Twitter, you know what I do?
Block them.
I block them. When someone annoys me on Facebook, you know what I do? I block them. And believe me, I've been harassed. I've had the said to me numerous times because I own a company, and that's just how it's going to be. I block them. At some point,
you're not gonna ever make everybody happy.
I block them. I ignore it. I hit the delete button. And I could tell you, by the way, and this is just kind of total sidebar, some very, very top recruits, not knowing that I know who it is, have said some dumb stuff.
To you personally?
Oh yeah, many times. Like let's say you're on my example. I don't want to use it. I'll give an example in a second. But let's say you went to my camps. I send you an invite to a camp, but you no longer were eligible for it, and we didn't clean you out of the process. Okay, that's happened many times, not on purpose, but it's happened many times. Okay.
Right. So they got an invite to something that they couldn't really go to just because
maybe they were a year out
they
of it
were
or
still
something.
on the list or whatever. It just
Whatever.
felt
They're on the list.
yeah.
Most I get things all the time. You probably do. I hit the delete button or I block it. Right.
Yeah, I'm not bothering with it.
Young people sometimes get a little aggressive, and so they say
aggressive for what though?
Say some things on email that they shouldn't say.
But why would they come back at you like that? Just because they were on a list that they couldn't go to?
They just think it's a phantom person. They just think they don't realize that it ends up. I see all of it, even though I do have someone that helps me with that stuff, but I do see it. So I chuckle when it's someone I know and it's someone's name I know. And if I just screenshotted it and sent it out, they would be in a lot of trouble. But I don't do that. My point is, why do you have to do that? Like, people do dumb stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, I would have been okay with her going to the police if she said
felt that threatened.
She felt that threatened. I would be okay. I would say even 5 years 5 years later, absolutely.
Listen, it's obviously something that was still bothering her to an extent.
It bothered her.
And look, we know that I always bring the mental health aspect of the world now is kind of in the limelight, and a lot of people are focused on that. And if this is something that's literally she's bringing it out now, it's obviously been weighing on her in some way.
I want to read you what Steve Cohen said. Is that the new owner?
That's the owner. Zero tolerance, right?
I want to read you what he said because it's interesting. Steve Cohen responds to cancel culture tweet after Mets Jared Porter filing. So Mets owner Steve Cohen didn't stop at Twitter statement announcing the firing of GM Jared Porter for reportedly sending a stream of
I guess you could
inappropriate text to a female reporter in 2016. Cohen elaborated on social media when one user asked him, "Caving to cancel culture is abhorrent now that Porter's life has been ruined. What is his path to redemption, Mr. Cohen? I have no idea. I have an organization for employees that matter more than any one individual. No action would have set a poor example to the culture I'm trying to build. We have terminated Porter this morning and blah, blah, blah. There should be a zero tolerance for this type of behavior." Cohen dealt with his own Me Too allegations at his .72 asset management firm before he was approved as the new Mets owner in October. Multiple female former employees of the Connecticut-based hedge fund filed discrimination and misogyny complaints last year with the state's Commission of Human Rights and Opportunities. Those allegations sparked concern by some MLB owners about approving his purchase of the franchise. So he's got his own tricky little past himself. No one's saying it's obviously been proven. Obviously, what this guy has done, Porter, is foolish and stupid. And when she obviously didn't want it, it wasn't mutual anymore. But you asked the question, what should happen to him now? Right? Is that what you asked?
Does this ruin his career? Or does he get another shot to do something?
Has anyone else gotten another shot in this situation?
Has this situation ever happened before?
Yeah, I can name one. Remember the announcer who used to play what was his name?
Marv Albert?
Marv Albert was a little different, and that was mutual. That was out there, but that was what do you call it? Is it mutual? Is that the word?
What is it?
Consent. They're consenting adults. So
consensual. Yep.
Again, if this was consenting adults, he might have still got fired because they may not have liked how it looked, but he would have been less likely to be fired than sending 70 unwanted texts of that stuff. So let me see. I'm still looking at Pure stuff. Oh, what was his name? He was a quarterback, and he got fired from ESPN for. I don't know if it was unsolicited or not. He sent this stuff to somebody. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was the number one announcer when you were a kid. Definitely on ESPN. I can't remember, but it basically ruined his career. He's now just starting to come back. Like,
I wonder how much of that stuff took place before social media and before the ability to literally send a text message and make it.
You couldn't send it. You mean before social media or before
phones in general? Probably, I guess you would say.
Before cell phones, you couldn't do it. How are you going to do it before cell phones? There's no way.
In person.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think too many people are doing it in person, though. That's very rare.
Either way, let's hope it never happens again. Obviously, we know it does, but there's no room in a locker room. And look, you can look at a lot of these quotes, a lot of these sideline reporters, and many of them have had things like that happen to them.
I mean, I don't know.
You know, Aaron Andrews, all this kind of stuff has happened. So
it's obviously you can't. It's going to get you fired. I think we agreed on that, and I think that
I think we have the long road back if somebody does give him a shot.
As a GM, I think it's going to be hard.
I think the GM thing is gone. I don't think he'll ever be a GM again. I think will somebody take him on in some way, shape, or form? I'm sure, but it's not going to be in a GM position in that facet. No way. I don't think that is going to happen.
Yeah,
he's going to be in some underlying low-level position as a consultant or something like that.
Start a podcast. You can control that, I guess. I think it's fair to say that he will be hired as a GM many times soon.
Moron.
How about minor league? Would a minor league team take a chance on him?
No. Why do you even want to do that? I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. Like, how much more is he going to give you in that, or his connections now ruined?
This guy's life. Is it fair?
Are females not going to disclose what they really should to him because he's that guy?
Is it fair for him to – I'm curious. Is it fair for him to lose
everything because of it? I think initially, yes. But I think if he does the right thing and continues to do the right thing – think about if this was your daughter –
that'd be horrible, but I'm just saying to never be able to earn a living again.
He'll be able to earn a living. It might be bagging groceries, but
crime.
Look, somebody's going to give him a shot. Somebody out there will give him something, and he will have the opportunity to build his way back up. I'm saying
criminals get second chances, don't they?
It's not going to be a lateral move, right? Like he's not going to get something lateral, and he's going to have to work. Steve Sarkisian, right? Rock bottom. Fired in mid-season. Issues. What did he do? Did what he was supposed to. Continued to work hard. And now he's getting his second opportunity. That's what it's all about. Is
this looked at in the same capacity? I don't think so.
You think that is worse?
Sarkisian was throwing back
he was drinking. Look, this could be this is the same thing.
I don't think did he have a DUI?
Who?
No. Did Sarkisian have a DUI or just
no? I think the trigger point or the explosion that happened for him was allegedly he was at an alumni banquet or a booster banquet and slurring all over the place, made it very obvious. Okay, so that was his trigger point. Okay. Or that was his explosion. But look, this type of behavior can be looked at just the same way as alcoholism, as a drug problem. This.
I don't know. Does he have a problem, or is he just?
Look, either way, if he's smart, he says he has a problem and goes to some type of rehabilitation for 30 days and goes from there. Because we've seen in the past, and I may be
I'm just curious. Does he have his face in the pictures and everything?
No, it's more of just his body part.
So I'm just curious why he
There is
Yeah.
in the articles, the picture is in the articles. It
Oh,
shows you what he sent. Now, obviously, it's blurred out, but the one picture is,
You're making me blush here.
It's 5 pictures of the restaurant, the hotel room, and then him on the bed with some disclosed pictures of a rather bulge area, and then the final
I'd rather
the final picture. I mean, look, it's in the article, but the final picture is, full disclosure, my friend.
It's definitely one of those articles that I saw, I looked at, and then I moved on.
Look,
because
to me, it's something that's happened. It's something I hope never happens again. And then, moving forward, who the hell knows? Wild. But,
all right. On any other better news? Any good news?
The good news is I think we got two awesome games this weekend. You're making your picks already?
Yeah, I pick.
How can you do that? You don't even. Mahomes is still in concussion protocol.
He won't be back.
You think Chad Henne's taking Kansas City to the Super Bowl?
I didn't say. I think. They are playing the Bills, and
bro, no Mahomes. Bills are in the Super Bowl.
You think so?
He also had a banged up foot.
Wait a minute. I think the Kansas City is going to be in the Super Bowl. Whoever's the quarterback.
Ooh, hot take.
And then I think the second game, I'm not as conclusive on, but I think the Packers might be they look better.
I do too. I agree with that.
But I don't.
I think Tampa Bay.
I can't.
I don't know if Tampa Bay's defense can do that again.
Plus, it'd be freezing.
That's what won them the game. That's what won them that game.
It's gonna be freezing cold. Devin White is a complete killer. He's the man. Devin White is great. Hey!
Who are you talking about?
Hey, look who we got on the line here. My man, Will Dafra.
Whoa, baby. How is Tallahassee, buddy?
Allen's going to fold, he says. He says Josh Allen's going to fold.
Ooh, that's a hot take. You think he's throwing some picks, Will? Will's always had some pretty good insight, not going to lie. For our viewers that don't know, Will Delprat was our middle linebacker last year. He is enjoying his life down at Florida State now as a freshman. Will loves talking football.
Will should be our intern and getting us some guests.
Dude, I can only imagine what he would pull in.
He'd be able to get us some great guests. I think so. That's what we should have.
I can't believe you're going to tell me, with all those weapons, that Chad Henne is going to take Kansas City to the Super Bowl?
If he has to be quarterback, he will. From what I saw.
Bro, I don't. You saw 7 plays.
Fourth down, he put that ball on the money to Tyreek. Zoom.
He was so scared to be in the game, he didn't know what to do. He had nothing else better to do other than throw it in the perfect spot.
Scared. He was 6 for 8 passing.
I know.
And
he were over 10 yards.
He really doesn't run. He ran better than I thought, but
anybody can run for a first down every now and then.
I mean, they'll blitz him. So if he's a quarterback, they're going to blitz him and make him pay.
Well, the spread right now is 3.
Kansas City
is favored by 3 with the over/under at 53.5.
By the way, I didn't get to point out that I was 4-0 last week. I always have to go.
I think I was 3-1.
3-1, and Troy was 3-1. Troy was rooting hard for. Let me think. Who was the last game again?
The Bucks and the Saints.
Yes, so he picked the Saints. And I had to remind him over because he always picks. He likes to bust my chops. He picks against the Bucks. He goes. I'm like Bucks. We do Bucks versus Saints. He's like Saints. I'm like, oh, okay. I got it. He's like, how come you're not out there coaching right now? Bucks are playing. I'm like, not those Bucks. It's not. We're not that Bucks.
I did. You did see that Michael Thomas played pretty much the entire season with some major injuries, man. The receiver for the Saints. I mean, he's going to have multiple surgeries on, feet, ankles. I mean, he was banged up all year, and he literally quoted. He said, "Look, there was no way I wasn't going out there knowing this was Drew Brees' last shot."
So here's what I wanted you to know. Yeah, I don't buy anything those guys say. Saints. I'm glad Brady took it to him. Anyway,
I hope he thanked his defense.
Yeah, he did. He did thank his defense. So what was
that's the only reason they won. I'll tell you that.
So what I was going to say though. I lost my train of thought. Oh, if the Saints had won, okay, you would have been 2-2 instead of 3-1 because you also picked the Bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Troy, if the Saints had won, would have been 4-0, and I would have been 3-1. He would have won. Shows you how much it takes to pick these things, because he almost won. He picks basically off the mascots.
Yeah. Like Colton picks off colors, or just like he likes animals. So if it's an animal, he's probably going with that. You know what I'm saying? But Colton will always go Tampa Bay because he knows he has a condo there, and he's been there like 4 or 5 times. So he's always going Tampa Bay.
All right. Well, I think that's it for the show today.
Yep. You need a nap.
No, I've actually
Remember, the earlier you're waking up, the earlier you have to go to bed.
I'm going to bed at 8:30.
And you have a kid. Good for you.
Well, I'm trying. Well, he goes to bed at like 8:30. So
if you started winding down by 9:15, 9:30.
Last night I went to bed at 10:30. Got up.
Well, your body will get used to it. You know what I mean? It's a matter of like, is Nicole a night owl or is she asleep?
No, everybody's asleep. So I'm the only one that was there. So what I'm going to do is
you used to get most of your work done then, right?
Yeah. So I'm just flipping it.
Morning.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and be in bed by 9:30 and get up by 4 the latest. And then I did my bike this morning. That was the first thing I did. Got up, I bike.
4 is fun.
Hour and a half. It's like 5:36. Shower. Get some work in for a couple of hours.
What time does Troy wake up?
Like 7, but I could still do stuff while he's getting ready. And then I've done most of my major stuff. Now I don't have to worry about working out at night.
I hate working out at night. Because I get energized to work out, and then when I'm done, I'm all jacked up, and it's time to go to bed. That's why I work out in the morning, and you're juiced to go, like, boom. And then as long as you can take your body and fight through your midday wall without having to grab a coffee or something like that, having to juice up with some caffeine, you're good to go. You got to do the European style, man. Like, lunch is the biggest meal of the day over there.
Is it? I used to love lunch.
Europeans crush lunch and take like 2 hours for lunch. They don't work late like us idiots.
Well, I liked my favorite thing back in the day at corporate was my lunches. Those are the best. Nice long lunch.
I used to love.
The thing that stinks is though you couldn't take a nap.
No.
Sitting 3 o'clock would hit, and that food would just start settling in, and you'd be sitting there like this, your computer, like, I
used to love corporate because I used to love being the first one in the office. Like the cleaning crew would still be there trying to get out, and I'd be sitting at my desk. And then when everybody comes in, they're like, "Damn, he's been here for all this time already." But that was fun because my boss was, international company. My boss is having, video conferences with Switzerland at 3:30 in the morning. Like, he's chilling in the office. It's like, hey, buddy. Yeah. Like, he was already there. He's like, you don't have to be here. I'm like, I want to check it out, whatever. He's like, okay. And I'm like, you do this all the time? He's like, this is my life, man. I'm like, okay.
3:30.
Okay, buddy. 3:30 talking to, Basel, Switzerland. Let's go.
Yeah, well, if you're foreign trading.
Let's go, man. Let's, this is, pharmaceutical company. Let's sell some drugs. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, boy.
Good show. And let's get the outro.
Crush it.
Later.
I will see you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Football and the Kitchen Sink with Coach Schuman and Coach DePascali. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. If you like what you heard, leave us a review and be sure to tell a friend. We will meet you back here next time on Football and the Kitchen Sink.
All right. Later.
See you tomorrow.